What's going on, guys? Welcome back to a second stimulus check update, stimulus package update, and stimulus news report for Saturday, November 28th. Hopefully you're having a wonderful start to your weekend. Today I have some more good news regarding stimulus and the progressive talks that we are getting on stimulus. So let's get right into it. First, I want to start with the COVID news for the day because this does pertain to stimulus in the long run. The United States reported 205,460 new COVID cases yesterday. This is all from Johns Hopkins University. This is a 102,000 case jump from Thursday, which was Thanksgiving. We also reported 1,412 deaths. The hospitalizations have now surpassed 90,000. But the worst part about all of these numbers, the worst part is the amount of people on ventilators has gone up significantly. This is not good. And I decided to tell you the COVID news first, like I just said, because this plays a major role in stimulus negotiations as we move into the coming weeks. Stimulus is directly tied to COVID cases, or at least it should be. However, this is what I've been saying for a while. Republicans do not seem to really care about the surging cases. They see it, they know it's there, but they're looking at the economic growth. They're looking at the stock market. That's what Republicans are looking at. And Democrats, on the other hand, they're not worried about the stock market. They're not worried about how the economy is currently growing. They're looking at COVID cases. They're looking at the science. They're looking at the vaccine when it's going to come out. And that is very important. But what you need to understand is for the stimulus negotiations, we have to see a compromise between where Republicans stand and where Democrats stand. And as of right now, it's looking a little bit shaky. Without additional stimulus, very soon, counties and states will do all they can to avoid another modified lockdown. Some states, some counties, some cities are already doing this. LA County, it keeps shutting down more and more. I live in Washington State. Our governor has pretty much shut down most of a modified shutdown for the entire state. Restaurants, gyms, bars, a lot of them are absolutely closed. So, businesses, they cannot be asked to close down without receiving some form of compensation for doing so. People, you and I, we can't be told to stay home without being given a form of income for the time being. Congress understands what is going on. They see it, they know what's happening, and many experts believe we will see some form of stimulus in the government funding bill that gets voted on by the House on Wednesday. This is what is currently being reported, is that the House of Representatives is going to hold a vote Wednesday at, I believe, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And this will be on the government funding bill, the omnibus bill. Now, some people are saying, and there are reports out there saying that no, there will be absolutely no stimulus tied to the omnibus bill. But there are other reports saying, yes, there is a high likelihood that if nothing happens between Monday and Tuesday, they will try to throw in a little bit of stimulus into the omnibus bill and hopefully get it passed. Again, we have no idea. We're waiting on Nancy Pelosi, Mitch McConnell to come forward and tell us what is in this bill. Are we going to see stimulus? Like I said, and I've said this yesterday, and I also said this Thursday on Thanksgiving evening. Okay, I did a video talking about this, how people are anticipating some form of stimulus in this omnibus bill. That would be good. That would be really good because the American people need it. Even President Trump continues to urge Congress to act now. Time is of the essence is exactly what he said. Trump stated this morning, and I quote, this is from Twitter, "The restaurant business is being absolutely decimated. Congress should step up and help. Time is of the essence." This statement has never been so true. Time is of the essence. It is. not just for restaurants and the restaurant industry, but for small businesses, for the American family, for the American worker, for just the average person. Time is of the essence. If nothing happens now, then expect tens of thousands of businesses to go under. Expect restaurants to close for good, and expect the unemployment rate to see a quick spike, all due to Congress's lack of action. Now, what we should expect to see this week, despite our congressional leaders unwilling to negotiate, unwilling to get back to the table and negotiate a deal for the American people, what many experts are expecting at this point is to see Mitch McConnell up his stimulus offer. Right now, he's talking about a $500 billion stimulus package. I can tell you that from reading many articles, watching a lot of interviews, just looking at what is going on, $500 billion would do very little. It would help and would kind of bridge the gap between now and maybe January. But after January, stimulus would completely dry up. It would completely run out. So, many are saying they plan for him to up his offer. And this is due to the fact that the Georgia Senate runoff is looking more and more likely to go to Democrats. Now, I'm not saying I want the Georgia Senate runoff to go to Democrats and see Democrats control the Senate as well as the House and the presidency. That has Republicans shaking in their boots. I'm not saying I want to see, Republicans win it either. What I'm saying is that this is what it comes down to. It comes down to Georgia. And everybody knows this. The reason voters in Georgia will most likely vote Democrat, and these aren't just new reports. This is also from the reports that came out a couple weeks ago, even a few months ago. And this, again, we had no idea it was coming down to Georgia. But what we found out is there are a lot of Republicans that want to just completely boycott the election. Not just the Georgia Senate runoff, but there were many Republicans that boycotted the actual election, the November 3rd election, the presidential election. They boycotted this because they knew it wasn't going to be fair. There was going to be fraud, is what a lot of these people said. And this is exactly what the reports are saying, is that many people knew, what's the point? Why go and vote when we know there's going to be fraud? And so I'm just not even going to vote. Well, if this happened in the presidential election, in the November 3rd election, and this is the reason why, let's say, millions of people didn't vote, and they didn't vote for President Trump, it could have been because of those people that Joe Biden won. And so now, if Republicans boycott this election, the Georgia Senate runoff, then the Senate will be controlled by Democrats and give the American people the biggest chance of getting a large stimulus package. Now, a lot of people are like, well, why is that a bad thing? I'm not here to debate whether, going into more debt and doing all that stuff, is it bad or good? Okay, I'm not going to do that in this video. That'll be for a different video. But what I want to say is that some people say if Democrats hold all the power, it's going to make it very difficult for Republicans. Republicans may never see the presidency again. I don't know. Who knows? Let me know down in the comment section below what you think. But what is currently going on is, because of this potential boycott, President Trump is scheduled, or based on what he said on Thursday, is he plans on going down to Georgia next week, on next Saturday, to potentially hold a rally and campaign for the two Republican senators there. If this happens, and many expect it to happen, and is going to happen because right now President Trump needs to rally his troops, rally his supporters behind him and say, okay, we have to go and vote. You need to go and vote. You have to vote Republican or else. And so right now, reports indicate that Mitch McConnell understands what is on the line. And in order to give Trump something to convince Republicans to go and vote, many expect Mitch McConnell could attempt to pass a larger stimulus package this week. Now, I'm definitely not saying it's going to be $2.4 trillion. It's never going to happen. Mitch McConnell would never go for that at this point, especially with vaccines coming up and we have the economy somewhat going back to normal before we see it turn around and you see the unemployment numbers spike again. But what reports are saying is that most likely Mitch McConnell will agree to something in the ballpark of $1.2 trillion at most. It's not most. But this would require Nancy Pelosi to ultimately come down off of her $2.4 trillion stimulus package. Which means she started at 3.4, she went down to 2.4. Some reports are saying she went all the way down to 2 during the negotiation process with Steve Mnuchin. And now she would be asked to come down another $800 billion to $1.2 trillion at most. This would include stimulus checks, funding for schools, PPP funding, liability protections, state and local government funding, eviction extension, and unemployment benefits. But what you need to keep in mind is that things change all the time. And as things change in Georgia, Mitch McConnell's stimulus plan would most likely change as well. This is why it is so difficult to gauge where Mitch McConnell's head's at this time, because everybody's still playing this political game. Right now, Mitch McConnell, Nancy Pelosi, and all of our leaders continue to play this political game until the Georgia Senate runoff election is over. That would be January 6th. Until January 6th, many expect these games to continue to go on. I expect these games to continue to be played out. We will see what happens. But again, I am optimistic we will see stimulus before that. And I say I'm optimistic because we need it. Not because I just want to see it, because we need it. The restaurant industry needs it. The airlines need it. Small businesses need it. The American people need it. People on unemployment need it. State and local governments need funding as well. And it's because of all this posturing that many states are worried about what will come next. We have no clue. New Mexico is offering $1,200 stimulus checks to their residents and possibly giving stimulus checks to people in the country illegally. This has many Republicans up in arms saying, no, we shouldn't give stimulus checks to people that are here in this country illegally, even though they live in the state. So, I get it. Why give taxpayer dollars to people that live in the country illegally? Makes sense. Colorado will soon be issuing their $375 stimulus checks to their residents who were on unemployment over the summer. And this should happen probably in the first couple weeks of December, so that is really good there. And even Michigan Governor Whitmer is asking state lawmakers to approve $100 million for state stimulus to help repair the damage due to the economy due to COVID. People are stepping up, but where's Congress? This week is going to be a pivotal week regarding stimulus. I know, I've been saying this for months. However, I do feel, based off of what I've been reading, I do feel this week will be a pivotal week regarding stimulus. We should see our leaders come together on an omnibus bill, and this should lead to more time for stimulus. I just want to say, because this is the report out right now, is that due to the increased COVID cases in Congress, the House and the Senate, what is being reported is that the House, and most likely the Senate as well, but the House wants to pass a stimulus bill, wants to pass the omnibus bill, wants to get it done as quickly as possible, which in most cases, a lot of these reports are saying it's going to be Wednesday at 6 p.m. is when they're going to vote on this omnibus bill. Wednesday at 6 p.m. they will vote. And then after that, if there's still cases in Congress, many people are saying they want to pass this bill so that they can go home. They can get away from Congress. They can get away from all the cases. Just go home, stay safe. So at this point, I just want to be clear. There is a possibility that Congress passes this omnibus bill and goes home. It's a possibility. And some people are saying it's a high possibility. I'm hopeful it's not, because if it is, and we do not see stimulus, I can tell you right now, many people are going to be hurting. We will most likely also see House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy push for a discharge petition for PPP funding. If he's going to do this, he has to do it early. He needs to do it possibly Monday or Tuesday. If he waits past that, the House could go home, okay? It's tough to say, but they could go home. We will get more congressmen and women urging their leaders to pass stimulus as the virus continues to surge. I've been saying this for a while, and I'll continue to say it. Congressmen and women are urging their leaders, Nancy Pelosi and Mitch McConnell, even Chuck Schumer and Kevin McCarthy. Let's get a deal done. Let's get a deal done. That's what they're telling them. Because they know their constituents. They go back to their home districts and they see everybody's hurting. The food lines, okay, the unemployment line, it's long. They see the people going into homeless shelters. They're being turned away because there's not enough room. More and more people are going homeless. Steve Mnuchin, my guess is he will hopefully throw himself back into the negotiations with Nancy Pelosi. President Trump has been urging Congress to act, to step up. Time is of the essence. Well, one way you can get Congress to step up, send Steve Mnuchin in there, start negotiating. And most importantly, with only 3 weeks left before Congress technically goes back on recess, something must get done now. This is why this week is so pivotal. If nothing happens this week and they wait until next week, they wait until the week ending December 11th, if they wait for that week, the chances of stimulus completely drops. It goes from like a 70% chance of seeing stimulus probably down to like a 30%. If something doesn't happen the week ending in December 11th and we get into the week ending December 18th, then the chances of seeing any stimulus drops even further. And I believe the last report I saw, it drops down to about 10% of getting passed before December 31st. So now I don't expect we will see a stimulus agreement. We'll see stimulus passed this week. My guess is we'll see movement. I don't think we'll see an agreement. I expect to have further discussions between the leaders or at least their staff. This is most likely what will happen. I anticipate we will come closer to an overall number. And Democrats say the number is not the most important figure. It's not the most important piece. Yet Republicans, for some reason, are stuck on the number despite the current economic and health situations. So expect more answers this week regarding stimulus. Now, this is what we know right now regarding stimulus. But as I know more, I promise I will share more. Make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe button so I can continue to keep you updated. Just want to thank you guys for watching today's video. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you guys on the next one.